Hey there, how's it going everybody? So in this tutorial we're going to be learning how to digitize our data. Okay, when I say digitize, all we're saying is we're going to be learning how to create vector data sets, that is creating polygons, lines and points. So and this tutorial is going to be comprised of two sections. The first section we're going to be digitizing our data from satellite imagery, and we're going to be doing this manually. And the second section we're going to be using a tool named Java OpenStreetMap, which basically digitizes this data automatically based on the OpenStreetMaps which have been contributed by people all over the world. Okay, so the first thing what I've done here is I've opened my ArcGIS Pro, and I have opened a map, and I've selected a base map, and I've selected the imagery hybrid, which brings us enhanced imagery which is clearly visible. Okay, so in order for us to digitize, what I have to do here is we have to create a file GeoDatabase in which we're going to be storing our data which we're going to be digitizing. Okay, so let's just do that. So I'm just going to navigate to folders here, and then I have my folder here which I store the data for all those tutorials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this tutorial data, and then I go navigate to new. So I'm just going to navigate to new there. So once I've navigated to new, then I have quite a huge number of options. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a folder, and then I'm going to name this folder. I'm just going to name it Digitizing, and then I save the name of that folder. Okay, so once I've created that folder named Digitizing, and then again go there and right click and navigate to new. So this time I'm going to be creating a file GeoDatabase. So a file GeoDatabase is a container of like data sets that we've been working with, that we just want to keep in a more fashionable manner within one space. Okay, so I've navigated to that, and okay, so let me just navigate there again. Okay, so I think it's trying to create the file GeoDatabase in the background, so let me just leave it to it. Okay, so now it's asking me to rename this file GeoDatabase that is just created. So I'm just going to name this again Digitize. This time I'm going to name it Digitized Data, and then I save that. Okay, so once we have saved that, as you can see, there's nothing in the GeoDatabase yet. So first of all, I'm going to digitize this into polygons. So we go on Digitize Data for GeoDatabase again, and then we navigate to new. This time we want to create a feature dataset. So this is where our dataset is going to be stored, because I just want data to be punched up into just one space. So I'm gonna name this dataset CBD. So let me just create that. Okay, so then it opens this geoprocessing tool, and it's asking me for feature dataset name. So I'm just going to name it to Harare CBD section, and then the coordinate system is the one that I opened the map in, which is WGS 1984, which is the coordinate system that I want to use, and it's going to save into this GeoDatabase file which I've just created, and then I'm just going to click on run, and then it's going to run that algorithm to create the feature dataset that I will need. Okay, so it has completed creating the dataset, as you can see this message. So I'm just going to close this geoprocessing toolbar, and then I'm going to navigate back to my catalog. Okay, so as you can see within my catalog, under our digitized data file GeoDatabase, we now have our CBD section, which is a feature dataset. Okay, so now within this feature dataset, this is where I'm going to be storing my polygons, lines, and points. So I then navigate again, right click, and then I click new. This time I'm going to be creating a feature class. Okay, so just click on feature class. It should give me a panel where I decide, okay, there's the panel. Okay, so I'm just gonna name this to, okay, let me just name this buildings. Okay, Okay, and then the alias is the human readable format of this. So I'm just going to name buildings. And the type of feature which I want to digitize first, I'm going to be using the polygons. We have quite a lot of features here that you can use. Okay, so I'm just going to start with polygons. M values, no, I don't have any Z values. I'm just going to say next. Okay, so here it's asking me the attributes which are going to be contained within my data. So I need to have I need to name my building so that I know which building is which. So I'm just going to say the field name here is going to be name and it's going to be a text. Do I need an alias for this field? I think I'm just gonna, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna name it name again. Okay, and then I'm just gonna categorize these buildings. So I'm just gonna create a category field there. It's going to be text again. And then I'm just going to create another alias category. So this time I need numeric data. What numeric data can we think of? So I'm just gonna think of okay, let me just say occupants. Like how many occupants can be in that building at a particular time. So I'm just gonna give it a data type of long integer. So I'm just gonna say okay, for the alias now. Okay, so this is the field name which is going to be recognized within when you're creating variables, and this is the human readable format. So I'm just going to say name it how many occupants. Okay, just say it. I can just say yeah, maximum capacity. I think that's much better. Maximum capacity. And then I save that. Okay, do we need any other field name again? Okay, let me just try to think of a field name. Okay, so for the sake of this tutorial again, I'm just going to say a date field. It was built on the day on which this building was completed. So we're just gonna click on date. Okay, so I'm just gonna say okay, officially open. Okay, so now we have our attributes that I just created, which is the name, category, occupants, built on. Yeah, okay, yeah. And then we obviously have default categories which cannot be edited, which are the object ID, the shape. Okay, so I'm just going to click on next to go to the next stage of this process. So it's asking me of the coordinate system which I want to use. So the current coordinate system is the WGS 1984, and I'd like to keep it that way. So I'm just going to navigate to next again. Now it's asking me about the tolerance. Just going to leave that as default. Navigate to next, resolution, next, and then finally I'm just going to click on finish so that we start digitizing. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it to finalize my data in the background. As you can see now, it gave me this pop-up which says it's now adding field. It's running the process that I just demanded that it should create, and it's gonna take a while for it to complete. Okay, finally it has completed creating that dataset that I just informed it to do. So if we navigate here, then we see we have buildings now. Okay, so this is quite a tedious process, especially when you're doing it manually, which requires you to actually have patience with this system. So now within this data set, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be navigating to our edit panel here, which is at the top of our navigational menu. And then as you can see, these sections have been enabled because previously we didn't have any data which we had selected before, so it was all disabled. So now with that we have a data set, all this becomes enabled. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be clicking on create, which allows us to actually digitize our data. So no editable layers. Okay, oops, I think I didn't enable editing on that layer. So let me just navigate to my catalog there, and then I just okay, let me just go on design, manage, enable editor tracking. Okay, let me just enable editor tracking there. So it's just enabling that for us to be able to edit this data set. Okay, so we've just enabled us to be able to track who edit and who corrects this data. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to add this data to this map in order for it to be recognized as an active data. So what we need to do now is we can go to this feature data set, and then I just say add to current map in order for it to be recognized by the system. Okay, so the data is now contained here. Okay, so what we need to do now is then we go back to our edit tool and then navigate to create. As you can see under the templates here, it's going to tell us that this data which is editable currently is the buildings, of which is a polygon 2. So we just click on buildings here, and then as you can see it has enabled these tools which allow us to be able to edit our data. Okay, so as you can see, our navigational icon on our screen has also changed, which allows us to be able to digitize our data. Okay, so now we're going to be digitizing our first building. So I'd like to do this in a more fashionable way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be zooming in onto a section of this map in order for us to do this in a more clear way. Okay, so I'm just going to click the corner of this building rooftop, and then I'm just going to drag it. And then I click another corner, the other corner, and then I click on the other corner again. Okay, so when I need to confirm that this is a polygon that I just created, I then navigate to this tool which says finish, and then I just click on finish, and once I do that, it has told me that it has created the feature successfully. Okay, so now I need to create a second feature, so I'm just going to be navigating to this point. Okay, so I'm just going to save that at first. Save all edits. Okay, yes, it has saved this edit just in case our computer crashes, or maybe you're using a desktop which requires you to be always plugged into the power socket like all the time. Okay, so now what we need to do here is we need to digitize our second building. So I'm just going to navigate to these two buildings over here. So as you can see, there are two buildings. So I'm just going to click on this corner, click that on again, and then we digitize that, and then we confirm our building. Okay, so it has added that, and then we go on over to the other buildings. I'm just going to navigate to that, click on this corner, that one again, and then I'm just going to confirm that this is a successful polygon. Okay, so I'm just going to click this remaining building, this big one. Okay, so always make sure that when you're digitizing this, it has to be as accurate as possible for you to have oops, I think I made a mistake, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. But you guys, when you're digitizing, just make sure you actually zoom in so that you see whatever you're doing. Okay, so in our case here, I'm still seeing this building. It has a corner here, and then it is bent over there, and then it comes inside, and then okay, yeah, voila. So that's gonna be a building, and we're gonna be confirming that. Okay, so let's say in case you guys made mistakes. Okay, so I'm just gonna save this first before I go on to the next stage. Okay, so, and then I just save that. Okay, so in case you guys made any mistakes, I'm just gonna go over to this select tool, and then I select this building. So let's say this building, it was a mistake. Okay, let me just select this one, which is a bit okay, so I'm just gonna go there and select this building. So let's just say I made a mistake on this one. I need to modify its vertices. I just go over to modify, the modify tool, and as you can see, we have quite a range of tools which are here. I can actually move this building to another location. As you can see, I've clicked on the move tool, and I can actually move this building over here, and then the building becomes relocated over there, but it's not where the building is. So I'm just going to bring it back to where it was, and then I'm just going to confirm that. And then what I also need to do is I can actually change the shape of this building. So I'm just going to go on reshape there, and then I'm just gonna, oops, I think I made a mistake, so let me just cancel that. Okay, yeah, there are quite a number of tools that you guys can learn when you're modifying these, when you're modifying your data. Okay, so I've shown you the first part on how you can digitize our polygons. Okay, so now we're going to be moving over to creating point dataset. So usually point dataset is usually used when you're trying to digitize, let's say we're trying to digitize points of interest. So let's just go over back to our data, and then I'm just going to click on new again, create a feature class, and then this time I'm just going to name this points of interest, then alias POI, and then this time I'm going to be using point data. Do I need M values or Z values? No, I don't need any. And then I'm just gonna name this again. I'm just gonna give it a name, and then alias, I'm just gonna call it name again. Okay, so this time it's just gonna be name. I'm not going to be adding any more attributes. I'm not going to be adding any more attributes to this data, because for the sake of this tutorial, since I have already done that in the first video. So I'm just going to be navigating to next. The current coordinate system is okay with me, so I'm just going to say next again. XY tolerance, we're going to leave that as default. Everything is default, and then I click on finish. And then now it's creating a feature class. Okay, so it has finished creating our feature class. Just navigate to catalog. We should be able to see our new data within this feature data set. So I'm just gonna click there. Okay, yeah, so it has added that to our feature data set. So I'm just gonna edit this again by adding it to the current map. There, as you can see, the POI has been added. So now I'm just gonna click on POI like this, and then go on create, because we're about to create our data. Okay, so it gives me options. Which ones do I need to create? So this time I'm going to select POI, which is the point 2, as you can see on the screen. So yeah, it's going to ask me, it's going to change the navigational symbol on my screen to allow me to be able to pick on points on my screen. So I'm just going to pick this. This looks like a swimming pool, so I'm just going to pick on that, and yeah, I'm just going to pick on that. And that point is it has done there, and then I'm going to find another point on my data. I'm just going to say okay, let me just pick on this tree, and then I pick on another one, and then I just pick on another one, and I pick on another one, and then I pick on another tree. Okay, and then I save this data. Okay, I've confirmed that this is the data set that I want, so I'm just going to navigate to save, and then do you want to save? Yes, I want to save. Okay, so before we go over to the next part, which is digitizing lines, I'm sure you guys have a clear understanding of how you can digitize lines by yourself now, because we've already done the first part, and all that we need to do now is just create another data set, and then we choose data type to be lines. Okay, so I'm just going to navigate to the POI attribute table, so that we see how this data is displayed. So I'm just going to open the attribute table there. So it's opening the attribute table. Okay, so as you can see now, we clicked on 6 points within our data, and it has created 6 new points. So As you can see, if I highlight this point on the map, it's just also going to highlight, it's going to do the same. Okay, so let me just highlight the first point. As you can see, this point, wait for it to finish loading. Okay, so I have highlighted this point. As you can see there, the point has changed its symbol. You see the color which is on the screen is the same color which is on this point, which represents that this point is the one which is currently active. So I can just name this, change its name and call it tree 1. And then I go to the other point, and the other point has been highlighted. Unfortunately, it's okay. So let me just save that and remove this 2 which is on my screen in order for us to see clearly. Okay, so the 2 is gone. So I'm just gonna, as you can see here, we can now see that this point is the one which is being highlighted, and I'm just gonna name it tree 2. So I'm looking for this swimming pool, which was the first point which we digitized. I'm sure that's going to be point number 6. Oops, actually that was the first point that we digitized, so it should be on object ID number 1, which has been highlighted here. So I'm just going to name that to swimming pool, and then I save it. Okay, so I'm just going to explain one other thing that you guys noticed or should have noticed when we're creating this point data. So I'm just gonna close this attribute table, and then I'm just going to create another dataset here. Okay, a feature class here, and then I'm going to call this one trees, and then I'm just going to name it an alias of trees. Okay, so this time, last time we selected the point data, but this time we're going to be selecting the multi-point so that you guys really know how this works. I'm just gonna go next, and then I name it. Do I need to name it? Yep. No, this time I'm going to give it a type because I already named the data set to be tree, so it's gonna give it a type, and then I say give it an alias type again. Okay, so I'm just gonna say next. Coordinate system the same, next again. Just gonna leave everything as default. So this time I'm going to rush to click on finish. Okay, so what I expect this multi-point to do is that whenever we're going to be selecting points, it's going to be telling us if it's going to be a different point. Okay, so what I mean is like you have seen in the last part where we digitized this point, with the multi-point now, all these points will be taken as one feature. So in this case, if we were to delete the feature then an attribute table, then all the features, these 6 features, will be deleted because they're all considered as one point layer with the same attribute. So let's just see how that's going to be working. So let me just wait for it to finish updating on the addition of the field. Okay, so now it has finished creating that point, that multi-points data. So I'm just gonna navigate to this, and then I click on add to current map in order for us to start digitizing that. It has been added to the map, so I'm just gonna navigate to edit again, and then I click on create. This time I'm gonna navigate on tree, and then the 2 bar is gonna come out again. Okay, so this time let's try to digitize a different point. So I'm just gonna be clicking on this next block within our image dataset. So I'm just gonna be clicking on random point. Let's just click here, and then click on another one, and then click on another one, click on another one, and another one, and another one. Okay, so then we just click to confirm that this is what we wanted. Okay, so I'm just gonna open this attribute table. As you have seen, we have created a 6-point dataset, and as you can see on my screen, they are all highlighted, which means these ones are actually considered as one point. So let me just open the attribute table so that you see what I'm trying to say. So open the attribute table there and actually see what they're going to be saying. Okay, so like I said before, this is just going to be one attribute. Oops, unfortunately our algorithm didn't actually create a type. I think there's something that went wrong when running this algorithm, but anyways, okay, so this is what I want to show you guys. So as you can see, these points, 6 points that I've just created, are all considered as one, and it will be actually a good point whereby we have like points that we need to, like points which have the same name, which have the same name and same type, but we just want to represent them on a map. This is actually a good tool to do that. There are also like various multi options that we have. We also have multi polygons and multi lines, but I'm not going to be dwelling on that in this tutorial. So to finish off this first section of this tutorial, which is the manual section, I'm just going to be digitizing now. They'll show you how to digitize lines. So just going to be navigating back here, and then this time we're creating another feature class, and then this time we're just going to be naming it road with an alias of road again, and then this time I'm going to be creating a line. We don't have z values or m values, so I'm just going to click on next. Now we need to know the name of the road, so we're just going to give it a name, and then it's going to be a text. Okay, so that's okay, and then a name. Okay, so I think that's okay. Oops, before we go anywhere guys, you have to make sure that your project is not in edit mode, because as long as it's in edit mode, we might have a problem in creating this. So first of all, we have to actually save our dataset that we just created. So once we're done with that, we navigate to our create features panel, and then we just close it to disable any editing, and then we continue with whatever we're doing. Okay, so I'm just gonna click on next there, and then I'm just gonna leave it as default, next again, and then I'm just gonna say finish. Okay, so this time we're going to be digitizing the roads which appear on our imagery. Okay, so we have created our road feature class. Okay, so we just going to be adding it again to the current map so that we enable editing on the feature. Then we navigate to create. Okay, so this time we're going to be selecting on road, and it's going to be a line. Okay, so the two just came up again, so I'm just going to be starting at this corner section, and then I'm just going to draw a straight line, and then I'll end it at that point, and then I'll click on OK, and then I'm just going to click on this section again, and then I just click OK, confirm that, and then this last road we are going to digitize. Okay, yeah, this last road we are going to digitize. Just gonna click there, and then I confirm that. Okay, do we have any other road that we left out? Okay, yeah, we have this other road. Unfortunately guys, I'm just going to be dealing with this small section because we're not, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to be showing you like the principles of how you can do it. But obviously in the real world, we're going to be digitizing like everything in real detail. But this tutorial is only meant to help you get started when performing such tasks. Okay, so now we have digitized 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 roads, and then I'm just going to save that and confirm that this is what we want. Okay, so I'm just gonna open the attribute table, and we want to give these roads a name. As you can see on our imagery, they already have a name already, so I just want to assign the name that already exists to the road so that we don't. Okay, so we're gonna be adding names to this road dataset. So as you can see, the current, let me just drag this toolbar down so that we clearly see whatever we're doing. Okay, so as you can see there, we have this road which is currently highlighted. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see the name, so let's just start with the one that we can see. Okay, so this is the road is named Vegetable Avenue. So I'm just gonna name it Herbert. Vegetable Avenue, like that. Okay, I actually did this in one of our tutorials where we are actually editing our attributes. If you forgot how you can get started by adding attributes, you can always refer to that tutorial, but I'm just going to be naming this so that Simon was so there. Okay, so and then just give it the name again. This one it's third street, and then the last one, this is okay, let me see what the name of this road is. Okay, so this is actually 4th Street, so I'm just gonna say 4th Street. Okay, if you're having problems, you can always go back to your map here, and then you click on explore, and then you can always get back these two, which can help you navigate around your map if you're unable to see clearly. So I'm just gonna navigate to map here, and then we're just going to click on explore. So I'm just going to be navigating. Okay, you can actually drag your map here if you're having problems in navigating while you're in edit mode. I know there are quite a bit of shortcuts, but we're gonna be explaining those shortcuts in a future video also. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back to our edit panel, and then I save these edits. Okay, so those has been saved, and I'm just gonna close my attribute table. Okay, so this is how you digitize your data manually. So as you can see now, we have this GeoDatabase file. So whenever we need to share our data that we just digitize with anyone, you can always see that this data is in a folder which is named digitized _data.gdb. So if you navigate to our files folder, we can actually see that this data is actually within a space which is more and easy to share with other guys. So I'm just going to navigate to this folder, and we see what I'm talking about. Okay, this and this other folder within on my PC, and then there in tutorials data. So this is our data, this is the folder we created, and this is our data. If you try to open it like this, it doesn't make any sense to you, but if you import it into a GIS system, then the data will start making sense. Okay, so that's it for the first part of this video. So now we're going to be moving on to digitizing this automatically using the Java OpenStreetMap tool that I told you about. Okay, so in order for us to get started, we need to download the tool. Okay, so I'm just gonna open my browser and show you this tool. Okay, so you can just go on Google, and then you just search JOSM. You're gonna get this is the Java OpenStreetMap. So JOSM is a free software desktop editing tool for OpenStreetMap geodata created in Java, originally developed by Emmanuel Scholz and currently maintained by Dirk Stoker. Editing tool contains advanced features that are not present in OSM's default online editor. Okay, so this tool is the one which can help you actually to get data from OpenStreet, which has already been digitized by most people. Okay, so I already have this, so I'm not going to be downloading this in this tutorial because I already have this on my desktop. So let me just navigate to the application. As you can see, the application is already here on my desktop. So what I need to do is I just need to double click this in order for us to open this tool. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, the tool is actually trying to open. So it takes quite a lot of time to open because you have to be online. Okay, so we've just opened the two on our desktop, and I'm just going to maximize that so that you don't see the background. So, okay, so as you can see, it's telling me that I need to update. Okay, so it's been a while since I used this two, and you see the guys are always Mac updates, like yeah, like constantly. Okay, so let's just get started in using this two. Okay, so we just navigate to File. So let me just click that. Okay, so we just navigate to File, and then we click on Download Data. Okay, so it then opens this window which contains OpenStreetMap data. Okay, so as you can see now, we need to select an area like this. So we just drag over on your screen, okay, like that. So I'm just gonna click on Cancel and then restart the process again. So I'm just gonna go on Download Data. It's going to open this window again. So now what I need to do is I'm going to be navigating to Zimbabwe. Yep, I'm just going to be navigating to Zimbabwe so that we get to download a small section of data within a region that I actually into the CBD. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom into the CBD and get a portion of that data from the CBD. Okay, so once we've navigated to the section in which we want to download our data from, we just have to left click on the section, and then we actually get to download data. Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm just going to click on a small section in order for this process to be quick enough. Okay, so I'm just gonna select this portion, and then select this portion, and then I go on download, and then as you can see, it's conducting the download server, and then it's rendering dataset. Okay, so it's actually downloading the dataset of the area which I just clipped, and then finally, it has downloaded the data. Okay, so now this is our data that we just downloaded. As you can see, like from the imagery that we had, everything has been actually digitized by the OpenStreet 2. So as you can see, all these are polygons which represent buildings, and we also have lines which represent roads, and we also have, I think we also have point data sets which represent points of interest. Okay, so now what you can do now, it creates an OSM data layer which you can then import into your GIS project. As you can see here, we have multi-polygons, and we have restricted areas which has been categorized by people. Okay. Okay, so now that we have our data, what we need to do now, we haven't done anything to this data. We're going to be editing, so I just want to save this data so that we can open it in our GIS project. Okay, so to do that, we navigate to File, and then we go on Save As. Okay, so it's going to give us options on which format we need to save our data. We have quite a lot of formats that we have. So what I'm going to be using here is I'm going to be using the OSM, the OpenStreetMap server files, and then I'm just going to find a folder in which I want to save this data, which is going to be easier for me to retrieve it when I need it in my GIS project. So just navigate it to my desktop. So I'm just gonna leave that to open my desktop files. Okay, so and then I navigate to my Academy folder in which we store our tutorials data. I think there's some background processes which are running on my machine, so that's why it's becoming a bit slow. Okay, so I've navigated to that, and then I'm just gonna go on tutorials data. Then I'm going to be going again to the same folder, Digitizing, which we just created. So that's the main reason why we created this folder, in order for us to also store this data. So I'm just going to name it Auto Digitized, and I'm just going to give it an area code. We use HRE, and then I just click on Save. Okay, with that, should have saved our data. Let's just confirm by navigating to the folder and actually see if our data is saved within that project. Okay, so here's our folder which we just, here's our OpenStreet map file which you just saved here. So it contains like the data which has been digitized by this Java OpenStreet map 2. Okay, so now that you have digitized our data automatically using this Java OpenStreetMap editor, you can then go back to your ArcGIS project, and then you can import this data and see how it looks like. Unfortunately, we're not going to be doing that in this tutorial, because that's going to be a future tutorial within this Learn ArcGIS series. So I hope you guys learned something within this tutorial. Now you're able to automatically digitize or manually digitize your data, or using whichever method that you want. Okay, so I hope you guys also like this video and share it with others who might also need to know how to use ArcGIS Pro, and you also subscribe to the channel. See you guys in future videos.